All right, so Jamal, I'll let you take over.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Jamal Dapina. I'm the tech advisor for Evolving in Education. One of our first meetings here that's live, and we're having fun with it. So it's June 1st. It's 3 p.m. Central Standard. We have our Zoom link. We are delving into our agenda. And first, we have our welcoming and opening remarks. I welcome all of you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And introduction, my name is Jamal Dapina. I said that already. So I will allow us to go around the room. We have one additional participant fantastically joining us today. Please say hello. Mr. Yes. Sorry.
Jason. Hi. My name is Jason Lasky. I am actually, I just crossed over into June 2nd because I'm based in Armenia. I'm originally from New York, but my wife and I and our 3 darling children, who are up quite late because we were in Yerevan, which is the capital of Armenia today, running some errands and also picking up my wife's mom and bringing her home. So they were anticipating Babushka's arrival today. So they're up late. And now it's June 2nd. So it's officially our middle child's birthday and my wedding anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary and happy birthday.
Thank you very much. And perhaps at some point, my wife, whose name is Svetlana, she'll also join the webinar. Maybe, maybe not. But she's currently getting her Master's of Education in IB Education. I also have my master's in IB Education, as well as an MFA in Writing for Stage and Screen. I have about 16 years of international education on my belt, and primarily with middle school and then upper secondary school students. And the reason that we are in Armenia is because I was offered a contract to teach. Are you familiar with the IB system?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, slightly. Yes.
So I was teaching what's called IBDP Diploma Program Theater and English at an international school that's in Dilijan. It's called UWC, United World College Dilijan. And that's what initially brought me here 6 years ago. And then 3 years ago, I finished my major associations with the school, and I've been freelancing since then. But Svetlana, perhaps she will introduce herself, but I'll just give a little overview of her. Like I said, it's midnight and it was a long day, so I'm a little hurt right now. But Sveta, her background is in economics and business and entrepreneurship and philanthropy. And one of the main reasons why she started on her Master's of Education path is because we thought, well, teaching couples are more attractive when it comes to schools, international schools hiring. But as she's been going through her process and her educational journey, that combined with our years together, me being a teacher, me also being a theater practitioner, a trained actor, and all the different kinds of theater related experiences we've kind of combined things into something that is bringing us down a path that is more about well-being and self-care. And one of the areas that we want to focus on is international education. And we have, let's say, a curriculum that we are developing that we're hoping different schools around the world that allows through a practical set of exercises and practical experiences as the IB experience-based for of all ages, as well as teachers, staff members, and administrators, let's just say the school community, to bring them a better sense of their emotional intelligence, their emotional vocabulary, being able to work together really in that beautiful ideal utopia system where people are allowed to feel and express what they feel with respect to each other and respect to themselves. That's us in a nutshell, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. But I hope that gives you a general overview of me and her. And I love
Yes,
to learn about you since this is the first time that we're meeting.
that's wonderful. Thank you. That's great. Very interesting. So my name is Amber Smith, and I'm the founder of Evolving in Education. I don't have any background in education. I was homeschooled using an independent curriculum, and then I went to a community college, and I currently do underwater construction and underwater bridge inspection for a living. So I have 4-year-old twins who are nearing school age, and I've realized, there wasn't many good options for school for them around here unless I paid exorbitant amounts of money. And I found out about Montessori school, and I learned that there's about 500 public Montessori schools in the United States. So I set out on a mission to try to expand that and make Montessori accessible to everyone. And after learning of Montessori, I quickly learned of Forest School, Waldorf School, Reggio Emilia, IB, unschooling, wild schooling, etc. And quickly thought, well, why should we have to choose one and do it ourselves? Why can't we try to put all these wonderful holistic curriculum, pedagogies, methodologies, philosophies, we try to take the best practices and merge them into one comprehensive, truly beneficial form of education, and inform that with well-being and mindfulness and developmental psychology and neuroscience and all the things that could just make education more beneficial to current and future generations. So that's where we're at now. We've started a 501c3 nonprofit, and we're just hoping to get the team set up and working efficiently, hopefully get some funding so we can implement what we're trying to do. And so that's me in a nutshell. I'll defer back to Jamal. That's all right with you, Jamal.
Had trouble getting off the mute there. So yeah, I appreciate both of your spending the time. A little more of my background. I'm a consultant technology-wise for like 30 years. And I've been in and out of the school system here in South Florida in the United States where I'm at. And because I've witnessed it quite a bit, I've had my own ideas of what needs to be improved. And I had started a program back in '94 where I was specifically about entrepreneurism and students and trying to help with with businesses integrating some of the concepts, because business is typically where individuals are going to grow up and go into. So it's like, all right, how do we help? And I met Amber, 4 or 5 months ago? Oh my gosh, we're already in 6. So we're talking 7 months ago that I met Amber just in passing online. And she mentioned how she had started this group. And I didn't really participate that much until just about a month and a half ago, where I witnessed what she was doing was very much in line with not only what I saw as needed, but what I wanted to do. So, and now my phone is saying it's about to die. So I figured I'd join and see how I can help. And she described how she needed some of this technology assistance that I do provide. And I was happy to help. And this is where we are now, looking at how to most effectively and efficiently get our focus groups off the ground. And we have quite a bit of materials that we've produced, but we're not having the most fun getting everybody to participate. So that's where we are. We're kind of psyched that you came on board, because we've been meeting by ourselves basically, Ryan. And we have individuals that have participated. We have a whole board. How many, Amber, are in our board chat? We have probably 12?
Our admin group, I think there's like 5 or 6, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, 5 or 6 that are active, but I think there's, well, so of those 5 or 6 that are active, they're just so busy leading their lives that we haven't really been as successful as we wanted. So that's my spiel about me. I have 5 children actually, and my youngest is 5 years old, and the two that I'm saying with 5 years old and 11, where I've seen the gamut. My oldest is 28, so I've seen the gamut of the school system. Yeah, and it's amazing to me that they are as well positioned, I would say, based on what I saw them go through. And I don't think I'm the poorest dad. None of us want to claim that title, but I look at how to improve individually, and I see that it's not just about me. It takes villages to raise children, but we are not doing that in our school systems at all. So again, my objectives really align well with the objective of the Evolving in Education goals and agenda. And that's why I'm not only here, but really committed to making sure this works, because we have to make an influence. And the people that Amber has talked to, I see the hunger, if you will, for the concepts that she's describing, what needs to happen, what we want to do. People are hungry for this, because right now it's becoming really clear. United States used to be way above, and now we're towards the lower rung of the developed countries, and that's sad. Not only that, we know that internationally there's been an uptick in the disgruntled opinion of people that work in education. Not only based on what individuals have come to Evolving in Education describing, but what I've seen. People are just upset. It's not just politics. It's that, no, we know that there are better ways, but they're not being implemented as fast as we discover them. So that's what we're about here. And if there aren't any questions, I'll continue with the overview and the continuing of the agenda.
I have no questions.
I do have a question, since
Please.
You saw that we came in. I came on Svetlana's Zoom, and then I switched out and came here, so I missed a little bit. I would appreciate a little bit of as I stumbled upon you guys, and then I just clicked on the link. I'm like, Evolve, what is this? Could you give me a brief overview of what your, let's say, primary values are, if you don't mind?
So yes, no, I don't mind at all. And Amber, I'm going to steal this away from you. This would typically be Amber's spot, but in the light of timeliness, right? We have a large agenda. I will give you a brief, and I'll bet you this brief will be as concise and meaningful as it can be. Evolving in Education is designed to assist the educational systems in providing educational resources for our students. And it's global. Our intention is to create resources so that we can package the very well-known, publicized, studied ways that children interact, students interact, not just little children, but the various ages, and how to best serve them. We've been doing, we have studies, and we want to provide those resources to or regurgitate those resources back at students, teachers, professionals in the educational system, so that they're small bite-sized portions, so that they can really incorporate them and glean some of the best practices that the world has to offer in terms of our students' capabilities. Does that answer the question? Yeah,
Amber,
Brian, it's not everything. I'm not trying to give you everything, because we've got documentation we're going to throw at you like right after this meeting.
Sure,
So
cool.
I'm really just trying to give you a brief. Did that help?
Yep, that's
Good.
great.
Good, excellent, excellent. And like I said, we'll be asking you, based upon your time, to participate with us and help us delve into the focus groups. There are 5 currently focus groups that we've kind of requested us as an organization to focus on, and we want each focus group to be autonomous. Okay, so the agenda for our meeting is typical, and we are trying to standardize what we do in terms of our meetings. So as I'm starting out, just a brief overview I've given in terms of what we want to do and what we're planning to cover. We don't have a previous meetings minutes that we would typically go over and ask for approval, but that's the idea, right? If you've gone to meetings, you know this is what we typically do, right? We are looking over what we did before. Say it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've had beautifully long meetings with, my Chinese administrators, and then my Kenyan administrators, and my Armenian administrators. Meetings are fantastic.
They
Some of these
certainly
meetings
can be.
really out some, and I'm being playful and facetious. There have been, I think, over the 15-16 years that I've been in the education sector, there's probably been 3 or 4 meetings where something was really discussed amongst the teachers and the leaders, where everybody walked away pleasantly surprised, a little bit more amped up about what it is that we were trying to accomplish for, whatever the given task was, or, whatever the given agenda was. But mostly I felt that a lot of the meetings they could have been conducted in about 2 minutes or through emails. Standard practice.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. We'll spend 2 hours in a meeting or an hour and a half in a meeting, and it's all superfluous. A lot. Yeah. So we don't have a prior set of meeting minutes to update us on. We'll talk about the focus group updates and announcements. Amber, did we have any important updates in terms of the group administration that you wanted to mention?
Is this separate from the focus groups, or the group we're talking about evolving in education administration?
Yes. Well, this is the focus group updates and announcements section.
So we have several people in each focus group, though we haven't had liftoff and got them off the ground yet. I plan on setting up a meeting as soon as possible, either this weekend or early next week, and inviting all the people who have joined our focus groups thus far, and hopefully going to figure out a way to establish leadership within those groups and start working towards our objectives. Like you said, we hope the focus groups can operate sort of autonomously, and so for that to happen, we'll have to establish leadership. I know our developmental neuroscience / psychology group, we have that filled in our early education / curriculum focus group. That's filled, and I believe even our mindfulness, fitness, well-being is filled, though we're having a shortage for nutrition. We haven't got all the nutrition experts we need yet to fill that. I know, if it comes time, we can hire people to fill these focus groups. That's not ideal, and I'm hoping you will lead the focus group other, perhaps, Jamal. That's all I have for focus groups, and I know that could be discussed at a later date, but yeah, that's all I have for focus groups announcement, is that I'm going to set up a meeting directly and hopefully get those focus groups up and running.
That's good. That's good. As a point of continuance, is there any way to set up a time now?
How about Saturday? Do you think Saturday would be better, or a weekday, or Sunday?
Any input, Brian? I don't know.
Jason, Jamal, Jason.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought his name was Jason. Sorry.
One of my brother's names. That's fascinating, Jamal. Who are you?
Wow.
I have 2 his name Brian. For me, I feel as though I'm a guest, just trying to dip my toes in your evolving waters over here.
I love it.
Thank you.
Let's do Saturday at 4 p.m. What do you think about that?
Love it.
Well,
Love it. Very good.
Saturday, 4 p.m. kickoff. We'll record it and send a copy of the recording to every one of our focus group members. And that should finish us up on focus group updates and announcements. Next, we'll do the presentation of topics, a presentation of discussion topics, excuse me. So one thing I would like to discuss briefly, the head of our neuroscience department, Doc Lee Raz, has come up with a parental incentive program that we hope to work with in the future. I know right now, we're just working on improving public education, but we know that these children's lives can be improved through their home life, their family, their community, because the majority of children's time isn't spent at school, it's spent with their family and their community. So the Parental Incentive Initiative proposes to start in schools with new parents. We have this incentive program where we go to new parents in the hospital and offer them to join an perhaps incentivized program where upon completion of online courses and or receiving pamphlets or in-person classes, that's yet to be determined, perhaps workshops, upon completion of these programs, they'll receive some type of incentive. And so the thing I wanted to discuss quickly on this is Doc Lee Raz's parental incentive program. I think it has great potential. And recently we started working with 3R Educational Solutions. And the founder of 3R Educational Solutions told me about this program that used to be here in the United States called Parents as Teachers. And it sounds quite similar to the parental incentive program, where it just teaches parents in how to better educate their children, how to better leverage their development. So I plan on talking to Lee Moore or Dr. Lee Raz about perhaps we could figure out a way to work with the existing Parents as Teachers program and sort of just evolve it. So that's the one thing I wanted to discuss, presentation or discussion topics. Does anyone else have anything they would like to add to this?
How did the program exist originally? I'm unfamiliar with the program, Parents as Teachers.
It was implemented through schools, I believe. Jamal, do you recall what Angel was telling us about the Parents as Teachers program the other day? Angel from 3R Educational Solutions. I don't have the data on that I should, but I know they just sort of educated parents to where they could help aid in their children's development and have better interactions, better relations with them. So like I said, I need more information on the Parents as Teachers program, but that's something I plan on discussing with our neuroscience department, because she's already working hard towards developing easily digestible tips and tricks to help leverage children's development. So that Parents as Teachers / parental incentive is something that I definitely will pursue in the future, but that's way in the future. So moving on, reports and progress updates. Jamal, I'll defer back to you on this bit. Perhaps then we can go touch on the proposal for New Mexico.
Yes. So what I wanted to discuss today was a long-standing issue that I've been having, trying to come up with what we are trying to evolve into in terms of whether we want to just establish a website, whether we want to work with an organization like HiveBright. Jason, I don't know if you're familiar with the community portals that exist out there. Have you ever used any of the community portals in education?
I cannot say I have, no.
Have you heard of HiveBright? HubSpot?
HubSpot, yes.
HubSpot's very popular. Thank you. Amber, HubSpot is another competing community type product. But the bottom line is there are tons of options, and we're just trying to discover what would be the best way to proceed. And without us having board meetings, it's like, okay, Jamal, just do it. And it's hard for me because honestly, I don't know. I had a, I have several discussions like most days with ChatGPT and artificial intelligence engines where they're providing resources and information, but I find that the information, it's still lacking the human element. It's like sticking a child in front of a computer and expecting them to learn. That's not how this works. Learning is best when it's engaging and it's interactive. And as much fun as Amber and I have had with ChatGPT and the AI stuff, it doesn't do the justice of helping us come up with decisions. Like we have to decide, okay, if we started a website, what would be on that website? I asked Amber what she would like to see. Everything, right? We want to see everything on the website. We want all of our documents. We want people to be able to communicate. We want our meetings there. We want everything represented that we would want. So the idea is whether we would want to do something custom or utilize something that's out of a box. Out of a box, for example, would be Facebook. We're already on Facebook. Jason, you might have, yeah, you joined us through the Facebook link.
No,
So-
link, he found us on LinkedIn.
Oh, apologies. Right. So we're also on LinkedIn, right? So the idea that someone can connect with us where they are is part of what, when we first started, got me to go to Telegram. I've been on Telegram for quite a while. And it's a competing platform similar to Facebook and LinkedIn, but it doesn't have the same audience. So although we created quite a bit of space there and we created some documents there, Amber and I speak there all the time, but it's just not the same as utilizing a community, for example, community-backed organization, something like HiveWrite. Amber and I just went through a presentation from HiveWrite, their demo, where they were basically selling it to us. And Amber, what was the pricing that they said would help us in getting something established with them?
It's $8,000. So that I'd like to do HiveBright in the future, but like right now we can't afford that. But she proposed perhaps writing it in with our grant writing, which is an idea, you know, if that will better our cause or further our cause. Real quick, Jason, I looked up Parents as Teachers. It operates in local communities across the United States and around the world with more than 1,000 affiliates. Using our evidence-based model, we nurture positive change for every child and every family. So yeah, it's just a neat initiative that just tries to improve the lives of children. I guess how I'd sum it up.
Well, it
I'm not
seems like
all of-
it seems like it'd be mutually beneficial,
Yes,
right?
for sure.
It'd be like get the parents moving their heads in a particular way to the benefit of the kids, which would then create a positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
That I would parents as I want to look that up now too. Parents
As
as teachers.
yes.
Oh, that's a nice logo too. Welcome to Parents as Teachers, Parents as Teachers. Okay, I found it. I'm not gonna look at it now, but I will. Yeah.
So if it's all right with you, Jamal, we'll move on to our next item quickly. I'm sorry, are you not finished?
Well, if I were to wrap it up, I would just say that we can create our own website. The cost would be similar, right? Creating a website depends on what types of features you have, but you could literally spend more than HiveWrite and provide more capability. You could also do something on, there's a company called Wix that allows you to do free websites. Just that we've got a ton of options. We could do things free. I like that, right? I don't like spending money, honestly. I mean, especially when we don't have a budget, the idea is how can we get the most bang for the dollar we don't have? And utilizing free tools, I'm a partner with Shopify. So it gives us a little bit of an avenue where if we wanted to utilize something where later on we did have merchandise that we were selling, it gives us a very easy way to implement that. So we have options. You wouldn't have to. We just have options. Because I know what it can do. If you're creating a website from scratch, it becomes, okay, you got to have expertise in it. We would probably hire someone else as well. That's time, that's money. It's anything is doable, anything is possible. There's just typically a cost associated with it. Shopify wouldn't necessarily cost up front, but sooner or later we would have to figure out where the pricing would be. So it comes back to options. We have building our own website, using something like a HiveBright that's a community, and using something that's already built similar to a Shopify that we can modify to become what we want. And I was telling Amber before that something that's interesting about Shopify is I had thought that it was mainly for retail only, like almost exclusively. It's really not. There have been many nonprofits that have utilized, even though it's typically a shopping platform, they've utilized it very well to present items for patrons, the whole incentive tracking of what people do, how much time they spend on the website. That's stuff that HiveBright does out of the box. Shopify doesn't do that out of the box until you add what's called an app to it. There's a bunch of modifications and customizations that you simply add an app. You say, okay, add this for me, add that capability for me. So it's rather robust. So that's it. And anybody listening to this, it's good stuff for them to understand. So now you can continue.
I hope to be able to have a HiveBright at some point, because I like the idea of that, like, education community, and the filters and all that they have, that could work great. We can figure out the people there, where they fit in with the focus groups and what objectives and whatnot by their expertise, because all that's clearly laid out on HiveBright, it looks like. So that's really cool.
Is there some way that's not what we have on Facebook with the
No, I mean,
community laid out?
it doesn't have the filters. You saw where it had, all their background and experience, their skills, whatnot. I know LinkedIn has that, but yeah, I look forward to hopefully having a HiveBright at some point. Perhaps before that we'll get some sort of web page. But so the back to that parents as teachers quickly. New Mexico has a universal pre-K program, which I think is just phenomenal. So cool. And we recently met with the education policy advisor to the New Mexico governor. So we're working on a 1 to 3 page executive summary for them, and we've got it pretty well there. But New Mexico, they also have a, what is it? Core implementation strategy, I guess, and that's amazing. I mean, I don't have the time or the wherewithal to tell you about it, what all they're doing with it right now, but it's incredible, all the things they're doing. If you get a chance, look into the NPED, New Mexico Public Education Department Core Implementation Strategies. They're already taking huge, giant strides in improving their education system, because they realize that it's failing, and that's a sore spot for them. They're seeking to improve it. And the thing I see I really think we can fit in with their existing framework and work together and grow. And the thing I see that they're lacking, I'm not sure of this, but from just skimming it, what I can tell that they're sort of lacking, that we're bringing to the table, is the blending of all these different curricula, all the world's curricula, proven holistic curricula, and the informing that with developmental neuroscience and psychology. Like, I don't see that they're doing that. And like, we already have our neuroscience department, they've all volunteered, and I just can't wait to hopefully start working alongside New Mexico with what they're already doing, because my goal has been to implement into New Mexico by 2026 as a prototype. And then once we implement into New Mexico, I hope to implement simultaneously into Alabama and Louisiana, and then move up and down the list of 10 last in the nation states for education, child well-being, literacy. And I really see this being a huge opportunity because, like I said, we already spoke with the Education Policy Advisor, and they're awaiting our 3-page proposal. If you'd like to see that, Jason, I will happily forward you that doc. We've
Please.
had a lot of eyes on that so far, and
Sure.
I believe it's just about ready.
Cool. No, thank you.
Yes, for sure. So I apologize, Jamal, for jumping in with that New Mexico thing. You know how eager I get when we start talking about New Mexico. So discussion of any challenges or roadblocks. I've been told by people that, you know, the government's not going to let this happen, but I don't believe that. You know, I think that with this better information, you know, we have to improve. And I think from what I've seen, you know, they want on board. Like they're not going to be left in the dark, and they're not. I don't know, but that seems to be what people are saying is a roadblock, is that they say you can't inflict any kind of positive change in public school. But I just simply don't believe that and won't settle for that answer.
And that's why you have this group of people that you are bringing together. And, you know, when you have one person who has an idea and then you infect somebody else with that idea, not in the COVID sense, but, you know, in a positive, happy sense,
Yeah.
of infecting people. And then the idea can grow and bloom and blossom and evolve to the point where people have to pay attention to it.
Right? Set the trail on fire is what I've heard.
There you go. We're very much with what Svetlana and I are working towards right now. We're also at the beginning of this journey in terms of taking our idea and then, you know, I don't like using violent imagery like wildfires, but trying to, you know, spark something that is going to move around. And we're going to be the ones who are moving it, and then just finding our people who have been part of our journey so far, but then finding new people such as yourselves, perhaps, you know, to keep this thing moving and rolling along. And so I'm with you in terms of, you know, the struggle of, you know, moving something new forward. And like, you know, thank you for the offer to read what you've already put together. I'm very, very interested. And I do have to say that I've been outside of the United States and the United States education system, except for my master's degrees, oddly enough, for so long. I left to China in 2006. And the only times that I've been back briefly full-time for a master's program that eventually was abandoned. And then more recently, 2018, 2019, I was doing this low residency MFA program. So it would be come for 10 days, go away for 6 months and work, come for 10 days, go away for 6 months and work, come back for 10 days. And, you know, and that was it for me. But so, I mean, as far as what Jamal said in terms of the United States falling behind, I think that I wanted to actually ask the question because both of you, from what I gather, you've been in the United States this whole time while I've been away from the United States for so long. And I just see the state of education and the state of not knowing anything about your political, you know, leanings. But, you know, somebody like, what was her name? Betsy DeVos, right? Who was in charge of education for some time during one of the prior administrations. It didn't seem like she was the best fit for the job, and yet she was there, and, you know, she had an impact that I can't say was wholly positive. Plus, then you have, the one of the main reasons why we have stayed away from the States is just everything circling around everything with guns. And I really thought that things couldn't get worse, and then they did when I saw, somebody capitalizing upon the idea, and they started selling bulletproof bags, backpacks. And I'm like, all right, this is too much. And that was really like one of those like, and I don't think I want to be in any kind of school in the United States ever again, if this is how things have evolved. But then I meet nice people like you who are wanting to affect some kind of major change. And, those kinds of political roadblocks that are there, like, I don't want to, look at the newspaper next week and see something that I've seen printed, or written about that's been ongoing since like 1998 or 1999 with Columbine, a repeat offense, in a new location. So yeah, those roadblocks are pretty great, and those challenges are pretty great. So, kudos to, people like you for wanting to do something that is really wonderful and positive. But yeah, I'm curious, how do you balance that when you are, on the ground and these kinds of things are going on there?
For me personally, like, I don't get down with politics much. Like, I don't know much about them. I try to stay out of it. Like, I think everybody's acting like, like both parties sort of act like children in some instances, but I don't see any, like, I know I can't have any impact on getting guns out of the nation. I know if we try to take away, I don't think we should be selling, assault rifles, but like, if there was all of a sudden a law said, everyone has to surrender their guns, I believe it'd only be the good people, that surrendered their guns, and the bad people would still have them. But I see a problem that can be fixed is the mental health, like, I don't think everyone should have assault rifles by any means, but I think everyone should have access to mental health, and I don't think it should be swept under the rug. I think that should be part of our education, like learning about our own brain chemistry, or like how we work, and that helps us to better understand our emotions and better regulate them.
Yeah.
So that's like part of what I'm doing, or what we're doing with Evolving in Education. We're trying to bring well-being, like you spoke of, and mental health. Like, we have a lot of mental health experts within our group, and like with the teacher training as well, taking neuroscience to help people learn how they work and why, and to better control it. Because things are out of control in the country. Politics are out of control. Education's out of control. The nation's pitted against each other, and I think it's a shame. Divided we fall. Like, and with I don't know. Like, I just, all I know is that, like, we can't keep pulling people out of the creek. We got to go upstream and see where they're falling in and why, and try for that, because it's scary. People, what's going on in the world is terrifying, and having children, them growing up in this world, knowing you can do the best job possible raising your children, but that someone who didn't get that lucky life, being brought up, with ethics and morals, and, good, stable family, an unfortunate soul could just take your child's life away, with nothing you could do about it. So I know we have to do something to inflict change in this nation, because, like, mental health is still stigmatized and still swept under the rug. The same with a lot of stuff, human trafficking, addiction, and like, children nowadays, they don't have much better options than drugs in some instances. I know that sounds insane, but I know a lot of people just graduating from high school, and they don't have any purpose, any drive. They don't have goals, no life skills. They don't know what they're going to do. And all they see that they can do is party. So they go out and drink, they use drugs, and drugs have gotten more accessible. Like, you can buy synthetic drugs online. These children are buying drugs online. Here in Alabama, you can buy them in gas stations. They recently took off the shelves the synthetic heroin they sold in Alabama gas stations for like 2 or 3 years. And they sell a synthetic marijuana that is one molecule off from the real stuff, but it's synthetic. So it's just horrible for you. People are having hallucinations, panic attacks. Like, children are buying this stuff, and it's messing them up bad, and it's scary, and it's legal, and it's like when consumerism tops education in a nation, that's when things go haywire like this, and that's what's happening. Like, we put consumerism above education, and that has to change. And like people I've talked to about evolving in education, I haven't gotten a lot of no's. Like I get a lot of yes. Like like we should do that. That's a great idea. And I actually was talking to my therapist, and she told me the biggest roadblock I'd find is people's egos. People say, well, why didn't I think of that? So thankfully I haven't seen too much of that, but like, I know it's a good goal, and we might have to, we're going to do some learning, and we're going to have to build a solid, we've built a good foundation, but we're going to have to continue our structure and our team. But I have a lot of hope for the nation and the world. Like, I know we're all connected, and once we can all sort of just learn to get along and evolve, I think the world would be a better place. That might sound like a dream, but I think it's possible. And, through mindfulness, like incorporating mindfulness into people's lives, like that goes from just operating off the left hemisphere of your brain to using both sides of your brain. And I think the capabilities that has for improving humanity, the human condition, is just huge. But I know we're getting close to time. Jamal, would you like to finish our agenda so we can let this guy go? I know it's midnight there. Sorry to keep you so late, Jason, but we appreciate you joining.
Actually, it's 1 a.m. at this point, but that's okay. I showed up.
You did. We really appreciate that. We'll be quick with this last bit if you'd like
Sure.
to stick around. If not, I understand.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you being here. Jason, so this really comes back to the future planning, agenda setting for next week. Our open forum we kind of had already. I'm kind of paring down what we have written on the agenda because it's way too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. But yeah, just in terms of, I like the idea of summarizing what we've discussed and figuring out what we can confirm for the next meeting. Jason, what type of time do you have available during the week? Had you put that in your questionnaire, or had you done our questionnaire, Jason?
No, there's a
Oh,
questionnaire.
great. Yes, very cool. Awesome. So we'll get that to you. But so
Cool.
that's a premature question. But do you have availability to assist us in our endeavors? What you've heard so far?
Well, I'm very interested in just learning more about what you want to do, and then I'm able to make a more well-informed decision. How's that?
Very good. Very
Could I
smart.
trouble you for your email address, Jason?
Sure. Can I throw it into the chat here?
Yes, that'd be perfect.
I'll do, it's spelled correctly, Jason. There you go. Jason at laskeywellbeing.com.
Awesome. Cool.
Amber, do you have the questionnaire that you
I
could
have-
give them?
Yeah,
Could you send him that link?
I'll email it. Yeah. And I'm also going to
Okay.
email him New Mexico proposal.
And let me also include Svetlana's, which is very similar sounding, just with her
Okay.
name.
Now,
Okay.
for some, like the Google form we have, I think you have to have a Google account to fill it up. Jazzy, do you know if you'd be able to do it through that?
Oh, these are connected to my Google accounts.
Cool.
These
All right.
are connected to mine and her. We set it up so that it's Google friendly,
Very cool. Well, I'll send you
Gmail
each,
friendly.
cool.
Yes.
I'll send you each the questionnaire and the proposal. But so moving forward, let's wrap her up. So Jazzy,
Oh, go ahead.
man's got an appointment with his bed, with his pillow.
We are good. We've covered
Good.
everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, this is a great meeting. I can't thank you enough, Jason and Jamal, for y'all's time.
May I just ask, Jamal, do you have an opinion about what I was bringing up before? I'd love to hear your perspective.
I appreciate it. I am very well versed on political stuff.
Yeah.
If we had met via Facebook, I don't know whether we would be talking, but I look for, do you have a Facebook account?
A few,
Okay,
yeah.
so let me see, I don't have, I can't send it to you now. Would you mind finding me on Facebook?
Sure, I can do that. Jamal Depina. Let me find it.
Yes, yes.
One of the first things I ever said to Jamal actually was that we're gonna keep politics as far away from involving in education as possible, because his profile picture almost was like, no, or, his is controversial, I guess. So, and I try to not be controversial, but I am sometimes accidentally, so.
And
Are you, sorry, are you from Sunrise, Florida?
yes, you got
Oh,
it.
no, you live in there, but you're from Boston. So you're the CTC for Depina Services. Is that you?
Yes,
All
yes.
right, cool. I found you.
So that will give you a nice overview. I've been on Facebook since 2009. I barely
Yeah.
have any individual family pictures up because for me, it's all about pushing the politic narrative
Right.
or combating the narrative. Like, so yeah, not to fill up too much time here on it. I look forward to any further discussions or questions that you have. Reach out anytime. I'm available and I'm an open book, but I don't try and put myself out there trying to say I'm doing education because I would get backlash, flack, you know.
Mm.
I present very well, but people look at my profile and they're like, whoa, right? So I'm just warning you, you seem like a very open and reasonable type of fella. I believe I'm pretty reasonable. Sorry, Amber?
Sorry for interrupting. I said, you're a hell of a tech guy, though. All politics aside. Excuse the language.
Yeah, I appreciate being able to help where I can.
Heck yeah, a valued member. He's been a spearhead. Wouldn't be anywhere near where we are without him. Now, since you're on Facebook, would you be interested in joining our Evolving in Education Facebook page?
Let's see if I can find it. Evolving Education.
There's 380 members, I believe. It's public.
And I
It's
just got the message from you. Thank you, Jason. So I'm
Sure.
good stuff.
I found Evolving Education, Educational Research Center.
No, they're affiliates of ours, but it's Evolving in Education. The
Evolving.
cover photo, yeah, the cover photo is like the definition of difference maker. A friend of mine did that page, or a member of our group.
In education, let me see.
And I'm
300.
sending you a link.
All right, good.
Oh.
He sent, cool.
Yep. I just found it. Cool.
Awesome.
Nice.
So that's where it all started, and it's where we're growing from. But we hope to get a LinkedIn page soon. Like, I've been operating off my personal LinkedIn page, and I know people are like, what the heck, if they look at it, because, you know, I'm a commercial diver / welder. My skills, they're not like, you know, people have like developmental leadership and teaching, and mine's like juggling and unicycle and blowing fire. Underwater demolition. So it's not, I mean, it's really
Underwater demolition.
Yeah.
Of course there's a job like that. Of course there. No, and that's really fascinating that, you know, all the fun things that we can do. I haven't scuba dived in a while, but I have my PADI license and my advanced water license, but it's been a little while since I was in the water. But yeah, going down 30 some odd meters to some boat, some wreck, and, you know, swimming around and seeing whatever lionfish and corals are growing down there. Yeah, it's been a while. I need to get back in the water for that. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I dive in the river, so it's not the visibility of the ocean, but
Oh, there you go. I've done some what is it? I've done some very cold river diving once upon a time in very northern cold Russian water. Yeah. Ocean. Yeah, also.
wow.
It was pretty cold. And that's a story for another time because it's pretty late.
Well, we sure appreciate you so much, Jason. And I'll forward you the questionnaire and the Google Doc with our proposal. And if you'd like to see more, I got lots of things I could show you if you'd like to check it out.
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely very interested in learning more.
Wonderful.
Lifelong learning, hey.
Yes,
There it is.
always learning. Well, thank you. Thank you both so much for your time. I hope you
Thank you
both have a
too.
wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
Take care. Be
All
well.
right. Yes,
too.
thank you.
Bye.
See you.